All right, hello there. This is mini lesson 22A. It's about betweenness. We'll be using what's called the segment addition postulate, which all that means is, hey, if I have a distance between 2 points here, and I have another distance between those 2 points, if you add those two together, it gives you the distance of the longer segment. We're going to apply that to these problems. So number one, numero uno. We're supposed to find PR, which is the distance from P to R. Here's P, here's R, so we're supposed to find how long that is. Now, what do we already know? We already know that from P all the way to R is represented by 4x minus 36. It tells us the whole distance. Then on the actual segment from P to Q, because Q is in between P and R, that distance is x, and then from Q to R, that distance is 6. So together, those two, so together that means x plus 6, that distance has to equal the distance 4x minus 36. They set up an equation. And then like you did back in algebra, you just solve for the variable. Now notice we have an x on both sides, so you need to move the x's to one side or the other. Which side has more x's on? Well, there's x here, there's a 4x there, so there's more x's on the right side. So we're going to get rid of the x on the left side by subtracting x. So they'll cancel out. I then want to move the minus 36, or get rid of that, by adding 36 to the right. So I must also do that to the left side. So what I end up with is 42 on the left, 36 is canceled out, 4x minus an x is 3x, and now just divide by 3, and I get 14 equals x. Now the question didn't ask me what x was, it asked me to find the distance from P to R. And from P to R, if you remember, from P to R was, let me grab my green, was this distance here. In order to find that distance, I need x and add it to 6. So if x is 14, so if my x is 14, I'm going to put 14 right here, and I have 6 over here, and you put those together, you should get 20. So the distance of P to R, PR equals 20. A common mistake people make is they say the answer is 14. But 14 was just the variable x, and then we use that variable to help us answer the question originally, which is find PR. Let's take a look at the next one. All right, what I decided to do was, since we're going to do some of these in class, I'm going to go to the back of this note sheet here, and we're going to look at number 6. Now, number 6, it says we're supposed to find the distance of A to B, right? It's right here. Find AB. Now, where's A? Where's B? Here's A. Here's B. So we're supposed to find this distance here. So it's not the whole distance we're supposed to find. It's just that piece. And right now, that's known as A. We need to find out what A is, and then we can answer the question. Remember, when I say A, it's the lowercase a. That's the variable for the distance from point A to point B, which is what we're supposed to find. So what do we know already? Let me outline here. Well, I know from A all the way to C is the same as this distance down here, which is 64. And I also know that from A to the B is known as A, and then from B to C is A minus 8. Now, if I add those together, it should give me the total distance down below of 64. So basically, you're setting up an equation. An equation shows two things that are equal. Something equal to something else. Well, I know A plus the A minus 8 segment from B to C is going to equal the whole distance of 64. And now just apply your algebra to answer this geometric distance question. So we can combine like terms. A plus A is 2A. You're going to add 8 to both sides. So you get 2a equals 72. You're going to divide by 2. A equals 36. That's been a little stubborn on me here. Let's see if it works now. 36. There we go. And what's the question asked for? It says find the distance of A to B. The distance of A to B is A, and A is 36. So the answer will be A to B, if that distance is equal to 36. So just be aware what you're being asked to find. In this case, we found A was 36, and A actually answered the distance from A to B. Okay, so let's look at number 7. Number 7, the question is asking for find W to Y, that distance from W all the way to Y. What is that distance? Well, we know that distance is the same as this distance here, 3a minus 18. So I have two things that are equal to each other. I can set up an equation and solve for the variable a. Then I can use that a, whatever the number value is for a, substitute it back in and find the distance from W to Y. Let's do that. Here's my equation. I know that W to X, which is 9, and from X to Y, which is 2a plus 2, if I add those together, 9 plus 2a plus 2, it's going to equal the whole distance of 3a minus 18. Now I just have to apply a little algebra. 9 and 2 could be added, so I have 2a plus 11. And I'll just rewrite this side here for now. I have more a's on the right side, so let's get rid of 2a on the left. I'll move the minus 18, get rid of that by adding positive 18 to both sides. So on the left side, I have a total of, I was going to put 19, it's 29. And on the left side, the 18s are canceled. 3 a's minus 2 a's leaves you with 1a. So a is 29. So I take that a, and I would substitute in 29 for this a here. So I want to find the distance from W to Y. W to Y is here all the way to here. Right? It's the same distance from here to here. So all I need to do is multiply 3 times 29, which is 87. Subtract the 18, 87 minus 18, well, that would be, I think it would be 69. So the distance from W to Y is 69 units. All right, let's take a look at number 9. It says points J, K, and L are collinear. That means they're all on the same line. Collinear, all on the same line or line segment. Point K is between J and L. From J to K equals 5a plus 12. From J to L, it equals 15a minus 22. And the distance of K to L equals 9a plus 10. We're supposed to find JK. No kidding. JK, just kidding. No kidding. We're supposed to find JK. What we need to do is let's sketch this first. Let me grab a pen tool. Point J, K, and L are collinear. Point K is in between J and L. So I'm going to go up here where I have more room. So I have a line segment. I have points J, K, and L. And it says point K is between J and L. So I know J is on one side, L's on the other. And K is somewhere in between. We don't know where exactly, but it is in between. That's the betweenness idea. It says J to K is 5a plus 12. So I would substitute in here, actually not substitute, but just right above the J to K, that distance is 5a plus 12. It's a length. It's not like 10 inches, it's actually an algebraic expression. 5a plus 12, that's from J to K. Want to put little marks there if you want. That's fine with me. That's a good idea. Then it says from J to L. J to L is the distance from the left all the way to the right. So from J to L, from here all the way to L is 15a minus 22. And then it tells you that KL, the distance from K to L, is 9a plus 10. And once you take a piece of scrap paper and draw the picture, it's very similar to the other problems we've already had, where they already gave you the diagram, like in number 8 or number 7, which we did, or number 6, which we did. Yep. And then what you do is you set up your equation, you solve for the variable. In this case, it's a again. And then use that variable, and then you want to answer what's the distance of J to K, which is just this piece right here. It's just that short distance. So you'd substitute the number for A in for A there and multiply it times 5 and add 12. And that would answer the question. So these are great examples of using your reasoning skills. And that's what, geometry, a big part of it is just using reasoning skills, then applying a little bit of algebra to help you find these answers. I'm going to finish this video by doing number 10. So here we go. Find. Actually, we're not finding. We're finding wx, x to y, y to w, or w to y. So we have points w, x, and y. They're all collinear. Point x is in between w and y. So I need to draw a picture. So according to the information, the picture would look something like this. W to y, and x is in between. And it says w to y is 21n minus 23. W to x is just n. And from x to y is 5n plus 7. Let me label that. Go bingo, I labeled each of the parts. From w to x was n. Put that right there. From x to y was 5n plus 7. That's right there. And the w to y was 21n minus 23. We have to notice that if we add these two segments together, these two parts, the n and the 5n plus 7, it should give us the total of 21n minus 23. So when I do the algebra, I end up with 30 on the left side, 15n on the right side, and now just got to get n by itself, divided by 15. So 2 equals n. And I have to answer the question. Now there's 3 questions here. There's wx. What's the distance from w to x, that distance? Well, the answer is n. N is 2. So I go up here, I write in a 2. Then it says w to y. W to y is the whole distance from all the way to the left, all the way to the right side here. W to y. All I got to do is put in the 2 where the n is. 21 times 2 is 42. 42 minus 23 is 19. So I go up here, type in 19. Now make sure you check that work with your calculator also. And finally, we find the distance of x to y, which is this piece here, which is 5 times n plus 7. So if n is 2, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus 7 is 17. So you put 17 here. And if you wrote those numbers on your little map here, this is 2, this is 17, this is 19. Well, that makes sense because 2 plus 7 gives you the 19. All right, have fun with these. Challenge yourself.